popular rally for the 6th time in his long and successful career. It took Toyota no less than 4 events before they could reach the top spot of the podium. Johnny Gemmell beat Volkswagen rival Jan Habich by just 0.7 seconds for the closest finish in South African rallying history. Gemmell's good run of form continued 7 weeks later when he recorded his second consecutive victory, this time by spoiling Volkswagen's party in their backyard, and again by less than a second. At this point in the championship, Gemmell and Kuhn were tied on championship points, but Kuhn mastered the fearsome mountains of the Eastern Cape to edge ahead of his championship rival. A month later, and drama for Johnny Gemmell, who saw his chances slip away in the Western Cape, while Kuhn's dominance continued with another victory, his 3rd of the season. So, with just 1 round to go and a 21-point lead at the top of the championship points table, Enzo Kuhn looks set to claim the driver's title for the 2nd time in his career. But Johnny Gemmell still has a chance, albeit a mathematical one. So it's all coming down to this: a duel between championship rivals Enzo Kuhn and Johnny Gemmell. The age-old fight between BP Volkswagen and Castrol Toyota. Between these two, they've won 5 out of 7 events. And they will now square up one last time in an effort to claim rallying's greatest prize. And this is what they will be facing. For 2010, the Toyota Dealer Gauteng Rally has a different format, as day 1 of the 2-day event will be contested entirely on tar. The world-renowned Gerotech vehicle testing facility just west of Pretoria is normally reserved for the testing of armoured vehicles such as battle tanks. So it will be more than capable of presenting Polos, Fiestas and Auruses with a tough challenge. Gerotech is also home to the infamous mountain hill climb. A piece of road that demands respect and that will undoubtedly fill the drivers with fear each time they have to cross it. To add to the challenge, the rally cars will have to tackle the tar and concrete stages on gravel tyres that will have much less grip on the abrasive surface.
But it's scary up there in the mountain. It's quite a driver stage.
You know, you build up speed quickly. It's quite something, like a roller coaster ride.
They just went up and down that mountain and tried to make it as hectic as possible.
Day 1 will conclude with a blast around the Swartkops Raceway. And to make matters even more interesting, it will be run in total darkness. With a giant 21-point championship lead, Enzo Kuhn can cruise to a lowly 17th place finish and still win the championship. So just how will he approach the event?
We need to be cautious, get the car to the finish, and we don't need to worry about an overall win.
For Johnny Gemmell, it's a do-or-die situation. He has no choice but to win the event and hope that Kuhn runs into trouble.
So a lot can happen. It's quite a way to go still.
While Gemmell will be focused on winning the event, he'll also have to fend off Jan Habich. The mistake by Gemmell will see multiple champion Habich overhaul him and steal 2nd place.
As far as Johnny and I'm concerned, you know, we've got to go as hard as we can, get the best result.
Conrad Rotenbach is 4th on the points log, but looks set to clinch the inaugural Privateers Championship, although this isn't what he was after.
No, it hasn't been the best of years for us, to be honest. But okay, everything's a bit new, so it's new car, new events, everything like that. So we've learned a lot, which is the main thing for carrying on for next year.
Hergen Vecken enjoyed a less than perfect season by his standards and will have to say goodbye to his title at the end of the event.
Yeah, look, it's going to be difficult to say goodbye to the title, but you know, if somebody has to win it and I have to give it to somebody, I think Enzo is the best guy.
Cape Townian Jean-Pierre Damso is only a few points behind Rotenbach and therefore still has a chance to win the Privateers Championship. Charles Wilkin has established himself as the man to beat on tarmac stages during 2010. And with a whole day on the sealed surface on the menu, Wilkin is a favourite to be leading after day 1.
Looking forward to it. It's maybe one of the rallies that suits me a bit better, so hopefully we can have a good clean day on the first day and see what happens on the second day.
Castrol Toyota's Leroy Poulter survived his S2000 debut during round 7 and should be more comfortable on his 2nd outing in the top class.
Yeah, I think definitely. You know, we took it a little bit easier, the first one, and this one we've done a little bit more tar testing. So happy with the car, and let's see how it goes.
It's almost sad to announce that the flamboyant Cape Town-based Spaniard Fernando Roida has decided to hang up his rally boots after a career that spanned nearly 2 decades.
This is it. I'm sure we'll miss it and it'll be terrible. We've made some great friends. We've had some fantastic racing over more like, 14, 15 years. And it's now time to call it a day, as sad as it is.
The Toyota Dealer Gauteng Rally is a home event for both Team Pertec drivers, so expect a good showing from both Hein Latergan and Visser du Plessis. The tarmac on day 1 of the event will also be a new challenge to the string of Volkswagen privateers headed by Nicholas Ryan. He'll face fierce opposition from Theuns Schubert, off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison, and Namibian driver Jaco van Dijk, while local driver Japie van Niekerk will hope to end a disappointing season on a high. Mohamed Musa is another of the top S2000 drivers that will aim for a top 10 result. This is stage 1, the notorious and downright dangerous mountain where the drivers will have to face narrow roads at high speeds with blind crests, jumps and bumps around every corner. And as if this isn't difficult enough, they will have to complete 4 full laps. And with the cars starting just 2 minutes apart, traffic will come into play.
As current championship leaders, as well as the fastest pairing according to the seeding system, Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson are the first ones to clash heads with the notorious mountain stage. As there's nothing to sweep on a hard surface, first on the road is for once a good position to be in. Exactly 2 minutes after Keen, BP Ultimate Polo teammates Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aries set off on their Toyota Dealer Gauteng Rally adventure. Tarmac, or in this case concrete, is also not Fekken's favorite surface.
Crest, steep down. Into adverse bump, steep down, immediate extreme danger, left 7.
Up ahead, Enzo Keen survives stage 1 and sets the first benchmark time of 14 minutes and 25 seconds.
Nice opening stage, 20k is quite long. Made us work there, but it should be very easy.
As with any other stage, it's impossible to gauge how fast the time is until a second benchmark is set. Fekken crosses the flying finish in a time of 14 minutes and 36 seconds, a full 11 seconds slower than his teammate Keen.
Left. Okay.
It's fine. It's a bit hard on the cars. The cars get a bit hot, but it was a nice stage.
6 times national champion Jan Habig and navigator Rolf Pitchford are next to run the Geratech Mountain Gauntlet. To be fast around here, one needs guts and bravery, something that Habig has in abundance. The third of the BP Ultimate Polos records a time of 14 minutes and 33 seconds, a little faster than Fekken, but still 8 seconds off the pace set by Keen. BP Volkswagen had played their first cards, so it is time for Ford to show what they're hiding up their sleeves. This is Conrad Rautenbach and Peter Marsh's first ever visit to the mountain. But as with the rest of the season, young Zimbabwean once again adopts an all-or-nothing approach as he skillfully mastered the mountain stage to record a time of 14 minutes and 20 seconds, a full 5 seconds faster than Keen.
Into neat 3 left minors. Tightens third narrow. Keep right of cones. Keep right of cones.
We took it quite easy because it's quite an interesting stage there, but the car feels quite good, so yeah.
Johnny Gemmell and Drew Sturrock start their quest to become Sasol South African rally champions. To do so, they need to not only beat Enzo Keen, but hope that the latter runs into trouble. On stage 1, this did not happen as the Castrol Toyota set a time of 14 minutes and 35 seconds, a full 10 seconds slower than his championship rival.
Max Crest. Beat Max Crest. Max right. 200.
This is the event that will determine who the champion for 2010 will be. But for Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich, this is also the time to turn their recent run of bad luck around. Having won multiple circuit racing championships before turning to rallying, Wilken is a renowned tarmac driver and was relishing the opportunity to make his mark. The Basil Reed Wizard Ford Fiesta driver used every bit of experience to master the mountain in a blistering time of just 14 minutes and 9 seconds, 11 seconds faster than his nearest rival.
Into right 7. Done in right 7 over.
Next up, the Pertic Toyota Auris of Hein Lateghan and Johan van der Merwe. Lateghan is also a former circuit racing driver and therefore a fast driver on any surface. The Pretoria driver has impressed on almost every outing this year, and stage 1 of the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally was no different, as the Pertic Auris crossed the flying finish in a time of 14 minutes and 13 seconds, the second quickest so far, and that in spite of having a problem inside the car.
A lot of problems there. I mean, first of all, the intercom stopped working, then the arrow stopped working, and then the throttles got stuck. So I had to switch it on and off the car.
Leroy Poulter now tackles his second event as a factory driver behind the wheel of the Castrol Toyota Auris. Poulter's first outing last month was a baptism of fire, but as another experienced circuit racing driver, Poulter would have been much more comfortable on the sealed surface. Together with navigator Robert Paisley, Poulter set the 8th fastest time, but already trailed the leaders by 30 seconds.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it. It's very nice. You don't just quite know where the limit is, so I think we played it a bit safe and we'll go from there.
Inside the second of the Pertic Toyota Aurises, Visser Du Plessis had the book-reading services of new navigator Kobus Frey. Du Plessis showed good bursts of speed throughout the year, but his 2010 season was mostly dogged with lots of mechanical problems. He started the final event of 2010 with the 9th fastest time on stage 1. Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee impressed friend and foe with the 10th fastest time on stage 1. Hutchison is a multiple off-road racing champion, and off-road racing experience counts for very little when it comes to these conditions, making the Motorride Polo driver's performance even more remarkable.
Charles Wilkin takes the early rally lead by just over 4 seconds from Hein Lateghan. Rotenbach is third ahead of champion-elect Enzo Kuhn and teammate Jan Habich. Gemmel's championship aspirations seem to be slipping away, but it's still early days and impossible to make any predictions. Inside the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta camp, Charles Wilkin had reason to smile following a successful first outing on the notorious mountain stage.
Yeah, not a big lead, but we took it fairly casual in that stage. Didn't take any risks. You know, we're in the lead, and we'll see if we can extend this from here on in.
Hein Lateghan is second in the Pertic Auris, but not without his share of drama.
We went into the 3rd lap, and as I started to brake for one of the tight hairpins, the throttle got stuck. I mean, and that's the last place you want on this hill climb for that to happen.
It's off to stage 2, the handling track inside the Geratech testing facilities. The handling track is more of a racetrack, but with little or zero runoff areas, leaving no margin for error. Another feature of this format is the fact that a number of cars will occupy the track at the same time, therefore combining racing with rally.
As with stage 1, it's up to the BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson to test the orders first. Kuhn only needs to finish in order to claim his 2nd national career championship. On stage 2, he sets a time of 8 minutes and 41 seconds. Outgoing champions Hargen Fekken and Pierre Aries have only won a single event during 2010, and that was way back in March. Fekken's pride was at stake here, and he set a time of 8 minutes and 42 seconds, less than a second slower than Kuhn.
Right 5, turn off, left 8.
Times on this stage were already getting close. Jan Habich and Ralph Pitchford were spectacular as always, as the 3rd of the BP Ultimate Polos recorded a time of 8 minutes and 42.6 seconds, just 0.3 of a second slower than Fekken. With 3 cars all setting similar times, everyone was expecting much of the same from Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh, but the Zimbabwean had other plans. The Ford Fiesta completed all its laps in just 8 minutes and 32 seconds, nearly 10 full seconds faster than the next best time.
Turning 6 left continues over long brow, 50.
Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock had nothing to lose and everything to gain in an effort to beat Kuhn and win the championship. But the Castrol Toyota driver soon had other problems to worry about. The Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich was now on the track at the same time and closing in fast. The circuit is very narrow, making passing almost impossible, but this is what Wilkin grew up doing. Wilkin goes for the inside, makes it stick and accelerates away, but the drama wasn't over yet. The Fiesta puts its wheels on the grass and spins right in front of Gemmell, who just manages to miss him.
Into hairpin right. Oh, no.
70, medium right. Oh!
A close call for both drivers. Current second place men Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe are next into stage 2. No more throttle getting stuck issues for the Pertic Toyota Auris, who goes on to record the 4th fastest time of all, but slips to 3rd on the overall leaderboard. The Team Total Evolution Toyota Runix of JP Damso and Callan Swan is still locked in battle with the Ford Fiesta of Rautenbach for the Privateers Championship. But after 2 stages, it's advantage Rautenbach as Damso is already nearly a minute behind. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton managed to set the 10th fastest time on stage 2 behind the wheel of the C-Track New Africa Developments Toyota Auris, but it wasn't enough to move into the overall top 10 as the Motorride Polo of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee continued to impress on their least favourite surface. The Motorride team occupied 9th at this stage of the event. Stage 1 was a conservative start for Castrol Toyota's Leroy Poulter and Robert Paisley, but on stage 2 it all came together. Poulter set the 2nd fastest time of all to propel himself from 8th to 6th on the overall leaderboard. Visser Du Plessis and Kobus Frey were on track for another top 10 stage time. But for the umpteenth time this season, the French-built Sadef gearbox inside the Pertic Toyota Auris cried enough and brought an abrupt end to their season.
Did you hear it? Yes. Yeah, that was second gear, it sounded like it again, second time in a row. So, what can I say?
Wilkin loses time thanks to a high-speed spin, but still maintains his lead at the top of the leaderboard. Rautenbach overhauls Latergan to make it a Ford 1-2, while Kuhn's championship looks safe in 4th. It's extremely close between Hubig, Poulter and Fecken, while Hutchison and Damso round off the top 10. When the teams tackle the fearsome mountain stage one more time, will Wilkin hang on to his lead? Is there anything Gemmell can do to stop Kuhn from cruising to the title? Or is there still another very unique Toyota dealer Gauteng rally, where SA's top gravel road racers are facing an entire day on tar? And not just any tar, but the challenging mountain and other test tracks at the Geratech vehicle testing facility just outside Pretoria. Charles Wilkin drew first blood, and in spite of a very scary moment on the stage before, still leads the event.
Pushed hard and we were having a good stage, but then we had to pass Johnny, but luckily that didn't take too long. And then I sort of just made one of those left-hand drive errors and put an outside wheel on the gravel, and it was a big slide and I couldn't catch it, so we spun.
Johnny Gemmell nearly smashed into the back of the Basil Reed Fiesta, but luckily for both of them, he didn't.
Yeah, quite close. I just wasn't sure if he was going to roll back, but he didn't, so I went round him. Otherwise it would have been nasty.
From his 4th position, Enzo Kuhn has a bird's eye view of the battle at the front, while keeping his eyes locked on the overall championship.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in the fight. Just a spectator from behind in 3rd place. We're also carrying some extra spares in the car and probably extra 10 kilograms of tools to make sure that if we have a problem, we can repair it. So I think we're just hanging back and trying to find a pace.
Stage 3 returns for another run over the spectacular mountain stage. The experience gained during Stage 1 will count for little, as Stage 3 will be run in the opposite direction. Downhills are now uphills, crests are now dips, and left-hand corners that open are now right-handers that tighten. It all conspires against the drivers to make it an even more challenging task.
While everyone had every intention to win the rally, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson only had one plan, and that was to finish the event and cruise to a 2nd national rally title. But Kuhn is out, and teammate Fecken is the first to emerge from the mountain.
There's a fairly tight left 7 here in the beginning, but it drops away very steeply. So he obviously took off and he couldn't get the car back in. He went wide into the trees and the car is very badly damaged. So they're all busy walking out of the stage. They look okay.
Huge drama as the championship leader made a rare mistake that saw him crash out of the event. The mountain had just claimed its first victim and brought an end to Kuhn's rally. But will it also bring an end to his championship?
no, we've put ourselves under pressure with the championship. Of course, Johnny needs to win the championship. But, you know, we would have liked to see it to the end. And now we've got to hang around and watch every stage just to know if we will win the championship. It's hard.
At the start of the day, Johnny Gemmell had a small or almost no chance of winning the title. But Keen's demise opened the door for drama this late in the season. All of a sudden, the Castrol Toyota driver had a chance to undo all of Keen's hard work throughout the season. But it was a small chance. Gemmell had to win the rally to accumulate enough points. It was as simple as that. Second place would simply not be enough.
So Max left long and Max crest. Max right.
Sure, things are turned around now.
The battle between all the privateer drivers is also a battle for top 10 stage times. Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee acquitted themselves extremely well and what would have been a new experience to them by setting the 10th fastest time in the Motorrad Polo. With Rautenbach just seconds off the overall lead, JP Damso and Callan Swan's hopes of winning the inaugural Privateers Championship were fading. The Total Evolution Runners was 9th fastest. Rallying on tar is also something totally new to Namibian driver Jaco van Dijk and Des de Fortier. Van Dijk survived his second outing on the mountain with the 8th fastest stage time. The troubles inside the Pertec Toyota Auris of Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe were far from over. Lategan was extremely quick during the first running of the mountain, but this time round he lost more time to the leaders by setting only the 7th fastest time.
No, got stuck again, the throttle. It's the second time now, you know, right at the end, got stuck again. I hope the car starts now.
Lategan was just 1 second slower than the 6th fastest time set by the BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford. Although Habig was losing touch with the leaders, he was still in a fight with Gemmell, as a good result can still see him claim second in the overall championship. Sitting on the sidelines, Hergen Ficken and Pierre Arries had a huge role to play. Their instructions from BP Volkswagen were now crystal clear. It was to beat Johnny Gemmell and to ensure that the latter does not win the rally and thereby the championship. But on stage 3, Ficken could only manage the 5th fastest time. The Ford Fiesta of second-placed Conrad Rautenbach and Peter Marsh mastered the mountain in a time of 13 minutes and 53 seconds, just 0.2 of a second faster than Ficken's time. It was the 4th fastest time on the stage.
Max Brow 50, long Max left maybe, slight tightens in over Brow and continues long and slight tightens in over Brow.
Leroy Poulter and Robert Paisley were now settling into the Castrol Toyota Auris. Poulter is obviously still getting used to the fast pace of top flight S2000 rallying, but on this stage he pulled it all together to set the 3rd fastest time of all, around 2 seconds faster than Rautenbach's Ford. But this is the moment that Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich were waiting for, the stage to make their move. It was clear that Wilken had picked the mountain to stamp his authority on this event and to further build on his reputation as a tar specialist. And on stage 3, that is exactly what he did. The Basil Reed Bizub Ford Fiesta was in a class of its own as it picked off the laps one by one. Wilken flew across the flying finish in a time of just 13 minutes and 28 seconds. It was a full 17 seconds faster than the 2nd fastest time, and fast enough to extend his overall lead to nearly half a minute.
And long right 7, no cut. The top do not cut into open hair left. Opens quickly to Max of the crest.
The name Enzo Kuhn conspicuously disappears from the leaderboard. Charles Wilken reigns supreme on tar as he opens up a 26-second lead after just 3 stages, while the news gets even better for Ford fans as Conrad Rautenbach maintains his 2nd position ahead of the chasing pack. Enzo Kuhn is out of the event, which means that Toyota and Gemmell have a slim chance of stealing the title at the last minute.
It looks like things change quickly, don't they? I mean, it really is not over till it's over. So we've been dealt another chance.
Now we have to win. If we come second, we're on the same points, but he wins with a extra victory.
For Gemmell to win the title, he has to win the event, and that means getting past a number of drivers, including Charles Wilken, who just extended his lead at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, we had a good stage now. We really tried hard, and it seemed to pay off. And hopefully we can extend it a bit further in the next two stages.
Stage 4 is a repeat of Stage 2, but also runs in the opposite direction, so previous experience doesn't count for much. Some of the corners are now covered by dirt, turning the handling track into a slippery test of driving skill.
Rallying turned into full-blown racing, with a number of S2000 machines taking on the handling track as well as each other at the same time. Conrad Rothenbach and Peter Marsh were once again putting up a brave fight, but the Zimbabweans' lap times were slowing down towards the end.
Long need 2 laps, 30. I've got a puncture. Long back to left maybe. How much further? 1 more lap, 2 kilometers. Whole lap to go, 30.
His time was only 10th fastest. Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra have been knocking on the door of the top 10 stage time all afternoon, and on stage 4 they finally achieved it. The RCF Johns Way Polo was 9th quickest. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were not happy with the handling of their new Africa Developments Toyota Auris, but the Pretoria drivers still managed to break into the top 10 with the 8th fastest time. Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock knew that they had to throw caution to the wind in an attempt to win the rally, but the Castrol Toyota Auris simply didn't have the pace.
And easy left bus. 8th, slow to stay left.
Gemmell also experienced a bit of deja vu when the Basil Reed Bizub Ford Fiesta of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich filled his rearview mirror just like it did 2 stages ago. But this time, there was no drama as Gemmell recorded the 7th fastest time. The Motorride Polo of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee was once again impressive around the handling track, setting the 6th fastest time and beating a number of the bigger guns in the process. Ergen Vekken and Pierre Harries were now under strict orders to keep Gemmell behind them, and on stage 4 they did. The BP Ultimate Polo was only 5th fastest, but a full 6 seconds faster than Gemmell. Volkswagen's tactics of keeping Gemmell at bay were now paying off, as Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford also managed to move ahead of Gemmell after stage 4, making life even more difficult for the championship hopeful. After earlier mechanical problems, the Pertec Auris of Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe was back up to speed and set the 2nd fastest time of all. But Lategan had to share the spoils with Leroy Poulter and Robert Paisley, who matched him down to every 10th of a second. It was clear that Poulter had found his feet in the Castrol Toyota Auris. But as with the stage before, and in spite of driving in Gemmell's dust, the stage victory also belonged to Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich. It was the Basil Reed Bizub Fiesta's 3rd stage win in 4 stages, and enough to increase their overall rally lead.
And left 5, tightens to short left 9.
The action and drama of Duratec is drawing to a close as most of South Africa's top drivers survived the tough challenge. Let's break away to the battles behind the remaining 15 S2000 machines in 5 more different classes.
Class A7 for modified front-wheel drive racing machines was dominated by Gugu Zulu and Cindy Harding in a BP Ultimate Polo. Zulu had initial opposition from the Easy Life Kitchens machine of Gavin Cronje and Henry Deerlove, as well as the Automark Toyota Runix of former class champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis. But the suspension in Cronje's Polo lost the battle in the mountains, while de Wit suffered from motion sickness, leaving Zulu to cruise to a comfortable Class A7 lead. Class A6 for 1600cc front-wheel drive machines turned into a 2-horse race between class veterans Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee and their Total Evolution Toyota Runix, and the older team React Corolla of Cape Town youngster Ashley Haig Smith and Hilton Orphan. Haig Smith acquitted himself well on only his 2nd outing in the Class A6 car since winning the Class A5 battle a few months ago, but the experience of Trott allowed him to go to bed as the overnight Class A6 leader. Entry-level Class A5 soon turned into a fight between the new Polo Vivo of Morna Jansen van Rensburg and Rikus Fourie, the aging Cecil Komatipoort City Golf of Piet Balkes and Johan Oukamp, and the Pertec Toyota Taz of Henk Lategan and Patrick Vermaak. Jansen van Rensburg is the favourite to win this class, but had trouble in stage 1 and lost nearly 2 minutes. Balkes survived the day as the 2nd-placed Class A5 runner, while young Henk Lategan impressed in only his 2nd ever national rally. Henk is the son of top-flight driver Hein Lategan, so talent obviously runs wild in this family. Lategan Jr. went to sleep with a more than 2-minute advantage. Class N3 for near standard production cars is turning into a battle between members of the fairer sex. The sister and brother pairing of Megan and Oliver Verlaak are chasing their first ever national class championship, but faced stiff opposition in the form of Stefani Higu with dad Willem in the hot seat. The Higos were the initial pace setters, but made a mistake on the handling track by doing 2 full extra laps. Nearly 4 minutes were lost, handing the overnight Class N3 lead to the Verlaak siblings.
The sun is setting over the Highveld. Duratec and its fearsome mountain stage is a thing of the past, as the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally moves to the popular Swartkops racing circuit for another blast on tarmac in front of large crowds who lined the track to witness the action.
Day one of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally was all about Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich. And on the tar of the Swartkops racing circuit, Wilken's dominance continued as the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta demolished the opposition to take their 3rd consecutive stage win by a massive 14 seconds to extend his overall lead to more than a minute. Behind Wilken, Leroy Polter and Robert Paisley put in another solid performance to record the 2nd fastest time, enough to move them into 2nd position overall. This was a great drive from someone in only his 2nd event behind the wheel of the Castrol Toyota Auris. Polter was a full 9 seconds quicker than Castrol Toyota teammates Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock. Gemmel's championship chances were fading slowly.
70.
Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh set the 4th fastest time, but it wasn't enough to keep Polter at bay as Rotenbach was forced to surrender his 2nd overall position to the Toyota driver. JP Damser and Callan Swan had a relative quiet day behind the wheel of the Total Evolution Runix, but the Cape Townian fared better here by setting the 5th fastest time, 3 seconds faster than the Pertec Toyota Auris of Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe. Both the BP Ultimate Polos of Hergen Fecken and Pierre Harries and Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford were exactly where Volkswagen wanted them, slightly ahead of Johnny Gemmell. But in stage 5, this all changed. Fecken was 9 seconds slower than Gemmell and surrendered a position, while Habig was about to experience a nightmare. The Polo completed 2 extra laps of the racetrack and lost more than 2 full minutes in the process, handing Gemmell another position.
Day one of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally comes to an end with the name of Charles Wilken at the top of the leaderboard. Wilken was never headed after taking the lead on stage 1 and goes to bed with a very comfortable cushion of more than a minute. Polter is doing extremely well to lead the rest of the chasing pack that consists of Rotenbach, Lategan, Gemmell and Fecken. After the break, the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally moves to the gravel roads of Boksfontein, where a rally winner as well as a new champion will be crowned. Will Wilken hang on, or will Gemmell snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Day of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally. It's also the final day of the entire 2010 Sasol South African Rally Championship. The action returns to gravel following an entire day of burning rubber on tar. The venue is the Rally Star facility near Boksfontein on the East Rand, where large numbers of spectators will have easy access to all the action. It's also a place where no rain so far this summer has left the roads dry and dusty. A victory on this event will see Johnny Gemmell win a maiden title, but at this point a win is nearly 1.5 minutes away.
Yeah, 1 minute 30 is a bit far, but we'll be giving it a go, no doubt about it.
Gemmell was given a gift when Jan Habig fell by the wayside the night before.
Yeah, in the Swartkops stage, unfortunately there were 2 extra pages in my road book, so Jannie and I ended up doing 2 extra laps and we lost just over 3 minutes.
Volkswagen's Hergen Fecken now has to step up and help his team.
We're very close to Gemmell, and for Enzo, we're going to try and stay in front of Gemmell, so that's our job today.
Leroy Polter is currently in a career-best 2nd position overall.
Well, I don't know, today being 2nd on the road might not help us too much, but I mean, I'm going to push hard and I'm going to go do all the best I can do.
Charles Wilken has a commanding lead of more than a minute, but he accumulated it all on tar. The question everyone wants answered is, can he protect it on gravel?
Well, I hope so. It's a new day, new challenges, back onto gravel, and I certainly hope he can hold on to the lead.
Stage 6, or Rally Star 1, is the first stage of the day and immediately followed by the much longer Stage 7. These two stages will provide some answers and will undoubtedly set the tone for what's to come on the final day of the championship.
2, 1, let's go. 250 now.
The overnight leaderboard of a rally always determines the road position and starting order for day 2, which means that Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich are the first ones to tackle the first of the day's 7 gravel stages. The situation is simple. As long as the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta or any other car except Johnny Gemmels wins this rally, Enzo Keen will be champion. This turned everyone in the Volkswagen camp into instant Ford fans.
Short left 7 is turn off right 8,
Wilkin did not disappoint them by setting 2 very fast times at the front of the field. As was expected, Leroy Poulter and Robert Paisley had a good day behind the wheel of the Cashel Toyota Auris on the tar stages of day 1. Poulter was now driving with a lot more confidence and completed both stages 6 and 7 with fast times, though he lost around 7 seconds to leader Wilkin. Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh came out with all guns blazing in their Ford Fiesta. They started the day just 4 seconds behind Poulter's second position and immediately closed to within just 1 second by setting the fastest time on stage 6, 3 seconds faster than Poulter. On stage 7, Rotenbach again set the fastest time of all, beating Poulter by 13 seconds and moving up into second position. It was once again a Ford 1-2 at the top of the leaderboard.
Long, 330. Line into very late, open, 3 left, 50.
On a relatively short stage, times will always be close, as Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe proved by setting a time identical to Poulter's. But in stage 7, the niggles inside the Buick Toyota Auris returned. The car had traction problems, perhaps related to the differential, causing Lategan to lose loads of time, and he slid down the leaderboard.
With 3-wheel drive, you just can't do it. I mean, we're losing chunks of time.
Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock had hopes of climbing all the way to the top and winning their win, but they first had to fend off the challenge from Ergen Vecken and Pierre Arix. The Cashel Toyota beat its BP Volkswagen rival by around 4 seconds on these 2 stages, but more importantly, Gemmel was now even further behind Wilkin's lead.
Wilkin maintains a comfortable margin of a minute, while Rotenbach powers his way past Poulter into second. Gemmel has a little breathing space between himself and Vecken, while Lategan drops 2 places. After the first taste of gravel, it isn't going Johnny Gemmel's way.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 seconds on the first one, and the next one we lost 1 or 2, and so we're there, but it's hard.
Rotenbach is up to second, following 2 stage wins.
Yeah, the last 2 stages are okay, but it's hard to make up any more time. We're trying, but there's only so much we can do.
Wilkin lost around 9 seconds to Rotenbach, but can afford to do so.
Yeah, I must say Conrad must be pushing quite hard, because I thought we were driving quite well there, and seems the car is much better on gravel, so I'm happy.
This is the famous super special stage at Rally Star, where 2 cars race each other over different loops of the same course. At the end of 4 different laps, each car would have completed the same route, and first over the finish jump wins.
First up, the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta of Wilkin and Godrich against the Cashel Toyota of Poulter and Paisley. The kilometers are running out for anyone to try and catch Wilkin. Poulter puts up a good fight in a closed ice, but Wilkin extends his overall lead by setting the fastest time of all. This is another Ford versus Toyota fight. Rotenbach and Marsh against Lategan and van der Merwe. It must have been very frustrating for Lategan, whose mechanical troubles continues as he loses another 15 seconds to the leaders in this short stage. The rivalry between Vecken and Arix and Gemmel and Starrock resumes on the super special stage, with this round going to the PP Ultimate Polo of Vecken, who closes the gap to Gemmel's Cashel Toyota by a full 5 seconds. From the Super Special, it's straight into a second run over the short Rally Star stage. The Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta of Wilkin and Godrich had lost around 9 seconds to second-placed man Conrad Rotenbach. Wilkin restored the order by winning his 2nd consecutive stage on dirt, his 6th stage win for the event.
Get it clean, so we don't have to start. It's turn off short left, sorry, left.
Rotenbach and Marsh were only 1 second slower than Wilkin, but still trailed the sister Ford by more than a minute on the overall standings. There was nothing that Poulter and Paisley could do about the two Fords, but still drove exceptionally well to hold on to a podium position in only their second event behind the wheel of the Castrol Toyota Auris. The deal between Hergen Fekken and Pierre Arries and Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock raged on over stage 9. In a reversal of the stage before, it was the Castrol Toyota of Gemmel who extended his lead over the BP Polo, but only by 1 second. More importantly for Gemmel, the glimmer of hope he had of winning the championship was fading fast, as the gap between himself and the leading Ford of Wilken was growing.
The factory teams were hoping to close in on Wilken's lead during day 2, but this isn't happening. Rotenbach now also has space between himself and Poulter, while only 2.6 seconds separate Gemmel and Fekken. Only 40 kilometres remain in the final rally of 2010. Wilken is edging closer to a maiden career overall victory. Gemmel needs a miracle, and Enzo Kuhn is the odds-on favourite to win a second national driver's title, and that while standing on the sidelines. Stages 10 and 11 provide the last real opportunity for anyone to make a move, as both time and distance is running out.
With a lead of more than a minute, Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich could afford to take it easy, but the Basil Reed Bizop Ford Fiesta driver wasn't taking any chances as he blitzed through both stages 10 and 11, setting the second fastest times of all on both. Wilken's run of terrible luck started just more than a year ago when his crew was tragically killed and his car destroyed in a road accident on the way to Cape Town. They entered the 2010 season with a new car and new sponsor, but the car was consumed by a mysterious fire on its first outlet. After missing a number of events, Wilken was now on the brink of claiming his first ever victory.
9 at the arrow, then 80, then 80. Go now, right 7 in.
Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh had already tasted victory this year when they won their first outing behind the wheel of their Ford Fiesta in the Western Cape back in March. The Zimbabweans provided the South African Championship with a lot of spice in 2010 and will undoubtedly be one of the favourites to challenge for the 2011 title. Leroy Poulter was the find of the 2010 season. After claiming the Class A6 title in just his first ever 6 events on gravel, he was promoted to the Premier S2000 class. Here on the dirt roads at Rally Star, the Castrol Toyota driver seemed to have found his feet at the top level of rallying as he was making 3rd place on the event his own. It was becoming pretty clear that the fight between Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock and Hergen Fekken and Pierre Arries was a fight for 4th place, and that it would have no influence on the outcome of the championship. After stage 10, the BP Ultimate Polo of Fekken had closed to within a single second of Gemmel's Castrol Toyota, but his challenge ended with a punch on stage 11. Gemmel and Starrock had a slow start to the season that was dogged with punctures and misfires, but halfway through 2010, the Castrol Toyota driver got it all together and claimed 2 successive victories to tie Enzo Kuhn at the top of the championship points table. It was a valiant effort from Gemmel, but as the season is coming to an end, it seems like he's about to miss out on the title for the 2nd consecutive year. Behind the aspiring rally and championship winners, a number of S2000 drivers were still using the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally as the final opportunity to make their marks in 2010. Team Motorites, Evan Hutchison and Alvin Kutsia were having an excellent event by setting times well inside the top 10 on both the tar from day 1 as well as the gravel on day 2. But the Motorite team was forced to change the steering rack in the Polo late on day 1, resulting in a 5-minute penalty that robbed them of a possible 7th position overall. It's the end of an era for Fernando Rueda. The popular Spaniard is hanging up his boots and with nothing to gain on the event, decided to take it easy and have fun one last time. Rueda is only one of a handful of South Africans to have won the African Rally Championship, and after nearly 15 years in the sport, his presence in the service park will be missed.
You know, I've had a fantastic time. It really has been great having you all here and entertaining you all and rallying, and the competition is fantastic.
Team Total Evolution teammates Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin managed to successfully complete the last event of their debut here in Class S2000. Musa is an extremely talented driver, but found the going rough after a huge accident that destroyed their car in the first round. After that, he was always playing catch-up. Musa set competitive stage times during day 2 of the event, but could only manage a 12th place finish. Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyler had an adventure of the rally behind the wheel of the RCF Johns Way Polo. Ryan first suffered from a failed battery, then lost about a minute following an overshoot when the Polo refused to select reverse gear. And finally hit a pole that caused some cosmetic damage. But after all of that, he still finished in 11th place. The Salom Group Polo of Tiens Hubert and Carl Peskin made it into the top 10, but only by less than a second. Hubert adopted a cautious approach that saw him climb his way steadily up the leaderboard, but 10th was as high as he could go. Every rally this season was new to Namibian driver Jaco van Dijk and Des de Fortier. Van Dijk is spectacular to watch and survived the tar and the dirt roads at Bobsfontein to claim another finish in 9th. 6 times national champion Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford ended the last event for 2010 in a lowly 8th position, following their mishap from day 1. Habig was fast as always on day 2 and even won the penultimate stage, but the time lost around the Swartkops Raceway the night before proved too much, and 8th was as high as he could go. JP Damso and Kellen Swan were running in 8th position for most of day 2. Damso still had a shot of winning the Privateers Championship, but his season ended in tears when the Total Evolution Toyota Runnix blew an engine on the penultimate stage, forcing the Cape Townian to retire. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton ended the final rally of the year in 7th place in their new Africa Developments Toyota Auris. Van Niekerk was fast on day 2 and moved up a few places despite a broken rear shock absorber. 7th was also their second best finish of the 2010 season. The Pertec Toyota Auris of Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe started the final day in 4th position, but the differential and traction problems inside the car spoiled their challenge as they were unable to defend their position. Lategan dropped down the order to finish in 6th.
14 S2000 machines reached the end, leaving the rest of the classes with the opportunity to battle for front-wheel drive glory.
Heading the 2-wheel drive contingent was Gugu Zulu and Cindy Harding in a Class A7 BP Ultimate Polo. It was Zulu's 3rd Class A7 win for the year, enough to also claim the class championship in the process. Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis were the only other Class A7 finishers in their Automark back Toyota Runnings. Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee claimed the victory in Class A6, and with it also the new for 2010 1600cc championship. The Total Evolution Runnix of Trott managed to successfully fend off the challenge by Cape Town youngster Ashley Hake Smith and Hilton Orfrey in their Team React Toyota Corolla. The Pertec Toyota Taz of Henk Lategan and Patrick Vermaak started day 2 as Class A5 leaders, but the newcomer had no answer for the incredible speed shown by Morna Jansen van Rensburg and Rikus Verrie. The new Polo Vivo started the day more than 2 minutes behind Lategan before they reeled him in stage by stage to claim their 2nd consecutive class win since trading the old City Golf for the new Vivo. The Wiel magazine Runnix of Stefani and Willem Hichu were more than 2 minutes behind rivals Megan and Oliver Verlaque at the start of day 2. The Hichos closed the gap on almost every stage to end with a well-deserved Class N3 win, but Verlaque's 2nd position was enough to clinch the overall Class N3 title.
Only one short stage remains. The Rally Stars Super Special is the final stage of the 2010 Sasol South African Rally Championship and the only stage that stood between Charles Wilkin and a maiden overall rally victory.
I'd like to keep it together and just take it easy and not take any chances on this last one and bring it home.
With 2 Fords leading the way and Gemmell still down in 4th position, Enzo Kuhn looks set to become 2010 champion.
Ficken and Gemmell had one last chance to slog it out in front of the large Rally Star crowd, with this win going to Ficken. But this was only good enough for a 5th place overall finish. Gemmell did all he could, and although Keane threw him a lifeline on day one, the Castrol Toyota driver simply didn't have the speed to fight for the win he needed. 4th place on the rally means 2nd in the overall championship.
And we saw, hey, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for us, and we tried a bit, but I couldn't do anything this weekend.
Leroy Poulter crosses the flying finish in a fine 3rd place overall, capping a remarkable debut season in the sport of rally. Conrad Rautenbach and Peter Maas could cruise to a 2nd place finish, but in a late twist, the Ford Fiesta picked up a puncture on the final few kilometers. Rautenbach lost nearly 30 seconds on this short stage, but his lead over Poulter was enough, and he crossed the line for a fine 2nd position overall. These were nervous moments for the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford camp as Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich entered the last stage of the event. Wilkin dominated the entire rally and crossed the flying finish of the last stage for an emphatic victory. An historic 1-2 for Ford and a first win for Wilkin.
A dominant 84-second victory for Charles Wilkin, who led from start to finish. Ford spoils Toyota's day by also claiming 2nd position, courtesy of Conrad Rautenbach. 3rd is a career best finish for Leroy Poulter, ahead of championship runner-up Johnny Gemmell. Winning a championship from the sidelines is not what Enzo Kuhn had planned, but he knew that a title is won over a whole year and not on a single rally.
We really pushed hard this year. In the last 2 events, I was driving harder than I've ever driven before, and I'm just so incredibly happy that the team gave me a car that I could use to that extent. It never failed me, and I'm ecstatic. I can't believe it.
A 3rd place finish in only his 2nd ever rally in the Premier S2000 class exceeded even Leroy Poulter's own expectations.
No, it's unbelievable, ecstatic, you know. I mean, all credit to the team and Robert. He did a good job with the notes, and you know, definitely feeling more in the seat at the moment, and good for next year.
Conrad Rautenbach prefers to win, but 2nd was a good result for the Zimbabwean.
So, you know, it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it and that, so hopefully we can come back next year and be stronger.
Charles Wilkin's 2010 dreams went up in smoke just 8 months ago. But the sweet taste of champagne will undoubtedly wash it all away as he celebrates from the top step of the podium for the first time in his career.
Yeah, it's been a terrible year, worst in my career, spanning 15 years. And to end it like this is unbelievable. I'd like to thank Basil Reed and Monica Minolta, Bizzup and Castrol, all the guys that stick with me through the tough times.
The calendar saw the Absa